Okay, good morning. Today is May 15th, and this week is like a season finale. Season finales are so exciting. Season finales tie up all the storylines from the whole season. Season finales give you some sort of closure, and they also invite you into the next season. Like a good season finale gives you all this satisfaction. It gives you all this like, oh man, I didn't see that coming. That was awesome. Really great way to tie it up. And season finales are also designed to get you excited about the next season. And this week is that week. And let me tell you why. So it's an Eight of Pentacles week. Eights ultimately are about infinity. Season finales are also like, hey, if this goes well, we can keep doing this forever. If this goes well, everything you liked before, that and more. And so an 8 week is like, hey, take a look. Like this has been epic. The last cycle of Jupiter and Aries has been epic. Like let's tie up the season. Let's tie up that temple of Jupiter and Aries, and let's bring it into Jupiter and Taurus, because we got a whole nother flavor coming for you. And it's an Eight of Pentacles also is traditionally about trusting. Like a season finale is, all right, what did you learn during this season about the characters, about the plot line? How did the plot line progress? You have some innate skills and abilities, some really important lessons you've learned from this season. So how have you grown? Like this, you're graduating a storyline. And not only have we just finished a Mercury retrograde in an earth sign, we've just finished a lesson in an earth sign, in the same earth sign that Jupiter's about to enter into. So Jupiter's like, hey, what did you learn during this Mercury retrograde over the last 3 weeks? It has to do with your body, your resources. This Mercury retrograde was even more emphasized because it also is where the North Node has been working on us for the last year and a half. The season's been a year and a half long season. So we have like, hey, so the thing I shared before I started this recording was that I realized that I love the idea that there's an external objective reality, that there's a reality that exists. And sure, there probably is an objective reality that exists even when I'm not observing it. However, because of the way that information comes through my sensory perception and into my brain is responsible for translating all of the objective reality, making it 100% subjective. If my reality is 100% subjective, then the different elements, my beliefs, like how resourced my body feels, all of my memories about every sensory perception I've ever had, and labels that I've ever had, any preferences I have, is all flavoring the way I perceive reality. So those beliefs are actually what's making my reality. And my reality it can change the instant I change a belief. What I see in reality can change the instant I change my focus. So while there may be an objective reality available for me to perceive, I'm only experiencing the subjective reality that I am choosing to buy into. And what this Mercury retrograde empowered all of us to actually know is that we are the meaning-making machines. We are the ones that are perceiving reality and making meaning of that reality. We're the ones deciding what's real. And we can literally decide anything. So I talked last week about how last week was sort of a week that was more about releasing control and allowing things to sort of take their natural course. And we had a Pisces moon over the weekend that gave us like this sort of perceptual closure along with the Mercury stationing to move direct. So we got that perceptual closure. And then I said that this week would be about actually getting to the work. The work, not meaning like, oh, now it's time for hard work, but the work of, okay, knowing what I know now, knowing how I create reality, knowing my relationship with my resources, what am I going to do now? What am I going to put? It's like, okay, now the wave is coming in. What is the technique I'm going to use to paddle and get on my surfboard? I'm going to do it now. I'm going to act upon it now. And it doesn't mean like, okay, I'm going to do it the way I used to do it. I'm going to just drink a bunch of coffee and I'm going to sit on my computer and I'm going to like pound it out. That's not the kind of, that might have been the kind of work we did 3 weeks ago. That might have been the kind of work we did. You know, we're very different now. So what does the work look like for us this week? Having known everything we know now, because we're very different now. So we have a brand new opportunity with the moon in Aries to approach our sacred craft very differently. Approaching the initiation this week is about being creative humans. And there's a comparison in here to the spider. The spider spins a web because that's what it innately does. The work that the spider does is innate to the spider. And the most sustainable work that we can do is something that's innate to us. And so we are getting in touch with that innate, sustainable process within ourselves. And that is what we're bringing forward into this new season, into the season finale, you know. There's a piece in the initiation this week also about if we are still feeling blocked, if we're still feeling stuck, if we're still feeling like there's a gap between us and the connection that we'd like to make in our life, the message is to start taking action and meet it halfway, to actually just get yourself in motion so that you can meet. It's the fingers, like, just reach out enough to meet that sacred flow and trust that when you meet it, it meets you. And let's see, is there anything else I'd like to say about the initiation? It's juicy and worth reading slowly. I'm not going to just read it because we all have the access to it, but that's mostly what I want to say about the initiation. So now when we get into the day by day of the week, yesterday the moon was in Pisces and it was conjunct with Neptune and Mercury was starting to move direct. There could have been an opportunity to let the veil slip off yesterday. It could have just slipped off and you could have seen like, oh, I get it. Like, oh, and it might have been terrifying and it might have been exhilarating and it might have been also just like, oh yeah, I always knew that. However you experienced it, I hope that it really made some of your tangible reality support some deeper spiritual truth. I hope that you had this like correlation between like, that's why it's all been like this. That's why it's always felt like this, because that would have supported the sensation of the veil lifting and it would have ground it into your experience so that it's not a fleeting vision. Sometimes when the veil slips, it's so fleeting, we immediately drop back into old patterns because we kind of forget the sensation. But hopefully there were enough earth elements in place that you could link them together and hold it as a new way of moving forward. And the words I have for yesterday are reflections and projections. So it would have been a day where we were reflecting on our past and projecting into the future, what that could mean, reflections and projections. It doesn't mean those projections will absolutely come true, but one of the veils that slipped for me over the last week was that that time is not linear. It actually can just shift dimensions, and we can actually change things in the past that shift our current trajectory into a lateral reality, a lateral space that's just a little bit more interesting, aligned with the new truths that we hold. It's like we don't have to make a change right now. We can make a change right now that makes our tomorrow different, but we can also, in our current space, reflect on something from the past that makes our literal present moment different. So these changes can happen immediately based on our perception. And that felt very exciting for me because it shifted the way I'm relating to time. So today, that was yesterday. Today, the moon's in Aries and it is square to Venus. So it's creating a little bit of a pressure. Our body's we're feeling some pressure, and somatically, pressure to receive something. So this could be as mundane as, there are some people that haven't paid their invoices. I need to reach out to them so that I can receive the money that I need for my life. So this could be like literal bookkeeping of like making sure that you're receiving what you need to pay your bills. It could also be like it could be pretty much, that's just a template. That's the example. And it could be, I also really need someone to help me out with my plans. I need something. I feel the pinch. I feel the square. I need to reach out and make that thing happen. I need to be proactive. And the moon is trine Neptune now. I mean, not the moon, Mars. Mars is trine Neptune now. That means that whatever actions we take, they're going to help to lead us to where we saw the veil thin. So if you feel a pinch or you feel some sort of pressured energy today, what is the initiation you need to take? And know that when you take action on that, it's going to lead you closer to whatever veil thinning experience you saw yesterday. The action is supported. And the words I have are actually, new can feel strange. So you might be behaving in a new way, and it could feel strange to begin with. It could feel out of your character. And new actions that feel strange are actually the first step in changing your reality laterally. Tomorrow, the moon will still be in Aries. It's going to come to a conjunction with Chiron, which there could be a little sting here. Not like a devastating sting, but something that's like, oh, I've been sort of worried about feeling that. Okay, I've been worried about feeling that. And now I'm feeling that. And so how does it feel? Also, Jupiter is changing signs into Taurus, and it will immediately square Pluto. Now, if we've got a little, I've been kind of worried about feeling that pain, and it's giving me the clear, tangible, somatic piece of information I've needed to make some sort of lasting change. Pluto creates a line that once you cross it, it creates lasting evolutionary change. So if we've got a Jupiter that's causing us to grow in the physical realm to create lasting change, and there was a little pinch involved, the message for Tuesday is, don't worry, pain is temporary. It might hurt temporarily, and don't worry, it's for the best. This could be physical pain, like, oh, like ripping a bandaid off. It could be emotional pain. It could be just general discomfort when it comes to relationship conversations. But it's temporary and it will pass, and it's for the best. On Wednesday, Jupiter will still be squaring Pluto. In fact, we're kind of having this experience all week. As soon as Jupiter enters Taurus, everyone's going to be like, Jupiter into Taurus, yay, let's have all this abundance. Yes, and all that abundance, all of that new tangible subjective reality that we're going to be growing into is because we're actively putting an end with Pluto. We're actively putting an end to an old way that we perceived before. An old Aquarius is fixed air. Fixed air are long-held paradigm beliefs. Fixed air is, we thought the world was flat, and then we found the world was round, or vice versa, it's like we all commonly hold this belief about the world. And Pluto is saying, and some of those might not be true. Let's evolve the fixed paradigm of belief. So this is a week where we are feeling growth beyond the fixed ideas. So the moon will be in Taurus now. The moon will come into a conjunction with Jupiter. That's just moved into that sign. It'll come into a conjunction with the North Node that's been bringing us into greater sustainability. And it will come into a conjunction with Mercury, which is the new thoughts, the new ideas that have evolved, the new awareness we have about what's real. And the words I have are, this is so good for me. This is so good for me. Like, there might be something you're doing and you're like, this is so good for me. You have to keep telling yourself that. And it really is so good for you, but it might feel new and strange, and it might be a little painful, but it's so good for you. And also remember, your soul knows what's good for you, and it will never let you tell yourself a lie. So if you're doing something that doesn't feel good, but your soul knows it's so good for you, and you say, this is so good for me, and you know that's true, even if you don't like it, that's if your soul's like, no, this is not good for you, then that's not the thing. Make sure that your soul's on board with this thing. That's Jupiter rules soul growth. So on Thursday, the moon will still be in Taurus, and this time it'll come into a conjunction with Uranus, and it will also be squaring Black Moon Lilith. So the square to Black Moon Lilith and the conjunction to Uranus could mean that there's something kind of scary that's like the change is actually happening. It's, oh my gosh, like this is actually revolutionizing my life. What I got through yesterday is actually making the change. And you know that it's okay, even if you're scared, because the fear is actually the indicator that you're experiencing something new. The words I have here are, I can feel this shifting. Oh my gosh, I can feel this shifting. This can be exciting again, or kind of scary. Just know if you're feeling it shifting, that's a good sign. That's what the astrology is calling for. And on Friday, the moon and the sun will both be conjunct in the very final degrees of Taurus. And then it will move into Gemini. The sun's getting ready to move into Gemini, but not quite yet. It's got some things, just some final little touches, but this is a new moon. And the new moon. So this is like, okay, on the new moon day, everything like these are the final moments of the season finale where you kind of have your mouth open and you're like, oh, it's like, oh, like I don't know if you guys all watched OA. There's a show on Netflix a while called OA, and I literally stood in front of the television during the season finale of the first season with my mouth open and I didn't want to blink. It might not, this week might not feel that epic, but I am having an epic life, so it probably will for me. And the words, I actually heard the line from Fleetwood Mac, never going back again. Like if there was a theme song playing during the final moments of the season finale, those words, never going back again. And it's not never going back again. It's never going back again to the old self, to the old version of us. This, like, it doesn't mean you're never going to see someone again or you're never going to have those experiences again. I don't feel this as a grieving moment. I actually feel this as a like, oh my gosh, I don't know where we're going, but I'm never going back to my old self again. So that's the energy of Friday. And then on Saturday, the moon will be in Gemini. Listen, Mars is moving into Leo on the night, but like we're gonna fall asleep. We're gonna get in our epic dream car when we go to sleep on Friday night. We're never going back again. We're gonna drive into the sunset, and when we wake up, Mars will be in a new temple. We're gonna act different. Mars is gonna be in Leo. Now, a Leo Mars is very much a lion, like the lion that pounces upon the earth, being the lion of liberation. It's owning its kingdom. It has no predators that it's afraid of. It is confident. That lion is like, all right, wait, what's up? So we're gonna wake up as these lions. Pluto, there's some strong things happening with Pluto. Pluto is going to be square Jupiter. Jupiter saying, it's time to grow your physical reality. It's going to be trine the sun. This growth is something I've chosen. I consciously feel aligned with this growth, with this change, with this moving on. And it will be opposite Mars. And I'm moving in that direction. Like, yes, we're going to the next season. Let's do this. Also, Saturn will be sextile Mercury. I almost never talk about sextiles because like literally there's just a million things to talk about already, but I am talking about this one because I think we're going to be talking differently. We're going to be structuring our words and beliefs differently, and it's going to feel exciting. It's going to feel dynamic. And the words I have are, it's another song, this is how we do it. So I think it's going to start getting musical by the end of the week. The credits are going to roll, and this is how we do it is going to start playing in the background. And it's going to be like, it's Friday night, like play the song and play the song. It's going to be the theme song. And if you own that energy of this is how we do it, like that's the lion walk, like hair out, jewelry, like what? This is how we do it. Like this is the energy that I believe the next season will start with. There may be some cliffhangers. I'm not saying it'll all get wrapped up, but I am saying there will be enough anticipation for the next season. And man, it just keeps going. Like we're moving into the air signs, we're moving into swords, we're moving into thoughts and ideas. If you believe that your beliefs and thoughts and ideas are creating reality, the next season is definitely going to give you the awareness of what all of those thoughts, beliefs, and ideas actually are, because they're going to be manifesting. Jupiter is going to be like, you believe that? Poof. You believe that? Poof. Like Jupiter is going to be in the earth sign that makes all of your thoughts and beliefs become real. So we got a 9 of swords next week, and the 9 of swords is like, oh, I didn't mean to create that. So it's going to be a good time to let yourself have the awareness that this is the correlation, this is what's happening, this is what's going on. And if you're the literal story writer of your experience, we're going to actually really need to drop into your role as that storyteller. And I've got an excellent workshop coming up next week on the 25th. And I think most of you are already all enrolled for it. And I scheduled it during that time because people might be having a freaking nightmare next week with Lilith shit going on, and all of a sudden the 9 of swords, and everything's getting manifested, and how am I creating this? I don't get it. And it all is going to be okay. And it's all perfect and amazing. And if we are able to adjust our perception just enough, we will see this as a really beautiful, incredible game, and it won't be so stressful, and it won't feel so scary, and it's just a dream, and it's all subjective, and most things are not permanent, and even death to a certain degree, which is weird. So anyways, that's the week. I'm really excited for it. I can't wait to see the next season, but I'm really happy to watch the season finale, and I'd love to hear your ideas and your thoughts and your feelings about how this is all shaping up for you. So I'm going to stop this recording, and I think I'm going to be posting this video for the whole on YouTube publicly, because I just feel like it's really important. And like a season finale, it might be nice to include people that are not in this group, because I'm going to be the next season is going to have a lot more characters in it. So I am so grateful that you all joined me for this season, and I can't wait to see the next one. And where's my thing that stops the share? There it is.